In times of tragedy, when disaster strikes or emergencies unfold, there is a group of first responders who emerge as a beacon of hope and support. But when the critical danger is over, when the first responders have restored order to chaos, the emotional, physical, and psychological hurt may drag on further for days, weeks, or perhaps months. It's a long-term game for a family or individual who becomes displaced, lacking shelter, a means to obtain nourishment, or basic health services. Among the physical remains and overwhelming grief, there shines a glimmer of hope in the form of humanitarian aid. These vital efforts extend a compassionate hand to those who have survived what could be the worst moment in their life, offering not just immediate relief, but a pathway towards rebuilding shattered lives. In this exploration of maintaining strong organizational culture, we will examine the culture and best practices of two humanitarian entities, the American Red Cross and Compass Housing Alliance, two organizations with different missions and services, but similar core values and purposes. But first, allow me to introduce you to our team of subject matter researchers. Behind the information being provided today is Erica Davis, Yvette Monroy, and Don Mikulski. And I'm Dale Lampkin, your spokesperson for today's presentation on best practices of building stronger organizational culture. Charitable institutions and homeless shelters both provide essential services to people in need. They serve slightly different populations while having some similarities. Both homeless shelters and charitable organizations like the American Red Cross are involved in humanitarian work. Homeless shelters like the Compass Housing Alliance provides housing, food, and support to individuals experiencing homelessness, while the American Red Cross offers disaster relief, blood donation services, and aid to those affected by emergencies. Both entities operate as nonprofit organizations, relying on donations and volunteers to carry out their mission. They heavily depend on volunteers who dedicate their time and effort to those in need. Volunteers play a crucial role in the day-to-day operations of homeless shelters and in disaster response efforts by charitable institutions. Both organizations receive support from local communities and rely on community engagement to fulfill their missions. Community fundraising and donations are vital for their sustainability. While their primary focus differs, both homeless shelters and charitable institutions are involved in emergency response. Homeless shelters may provide temporary shelter during the night and extreme weather conditions, and organizations like the American Red Cross respond to natural disasters and other emergencies. So, what allows these organizations to have strong cultures? To answer this question, we turn towards the treatment of the volunteers who make the greatest sacrifice within the organization. Let's start with supportive leadership and professional development. As a thank you to these volunteers, it's important that we implement professional development programs that empower them to grow and advance their skills and knowledge to better serve others. Training, mentoring, and skill building opportunities demonstrate a commitment and appreciation for what the volunteers do. We also want to recognize and reward exceptional performance, lighten up the work atmosphere, and make sure employees have fun. Encourage employees to get to know each other by hosting small celebrations. Surprise employees with fun perks to make them feel appreciated. Acknowledging and celebrating both employee and volunteer contributions can boost morale and engagement. Second is employee well-being and work-life balance. Humanitarian work can be emotionally taxing, so supporting mental and emotional health is crucial. We should prioritize employee well-being by offering mental health support, access to counseling services, and stress management resources. Organizations should foster a sense of community and camaraderie amongst employees through team-building activities and social events. Strong interpersonal relationships amongst colleagues contribute to the positive organizational culture. What always helps is creating a more forgiving environment to employees and volunteers alike to make errors and know there will be forgiveness. The third and perhaps biggest best practice is an adherence to the organization's core values, key pillars to both organizations' initiatives of humanitarian service. For the American Red Cross, their culture is shaped around what they refer to as the 5 C's: compassionate, credible, collaborative, committed, and creative. The organization is dedicated to improving the lives of those they serve and to treat each other with care and respect. Acts with integrity, being transparent guardians of the public's trust and honoring their promises. It works together as one Red Cross family in partnership with other organizations and always embraces diversity and inclusivity. It holds itself accountable to defining and meeting clear objectives, delivering on their mission, and carefully stewarding their donor funds. They seek new ideals, are open to change, and are always looking for better ways to serve those in need. The Compass Housing Alliance shares similar culture and values. The organization welcomes all people equally and with love. The employees are present to others through compassionate listening and reflection. The people they serve share with them their needs, hopes, and life stories, and they learn from those hardships and triumphs. They strive to utilize best practices and develop a culturally competent workforce. Practicing stewardship, it uses resources to thoughtfully develop programs and properties that meet immediate and long-term needs to achieve maximum impact. It educates and encourages the people that they serve, the employees, board members, and those in their community to be advocates. And last, it fosters community by creating opportunities for connection, relationship building, and belonging amongst those that they serve, along with their neighbors, partners, and employees. The American Red Cross and Compass Housing Alliance share efforts in culture and community support that is parallel to the 4 Frames model. Developed by Lee Bowman and Terrence Deal in 1984, the model provides an organized chart that views an organization from 4 different perspectives. They are structural, human resources, symbolic, and political. Structurally, both organizations take a proactive stance when engaging in community outreach and suggest that a formalized framework be put in place to carry out this intervention. This includes embedding themselves in first responder incident command structures while mitigating long-term disasters. In human resources, people, especially their relationships with volunteers, are highlighted. Needs and skills of its volunteers are appreciated. Symbolically, through their core values, rituals are always being prepared. Inspiring success stories and faith-based meaning is instilled in the services they provide. Politically, power and conflict, to include conflicting interests, can take place as these organizations can be influenced by societal demands, funds, and tax exemption permissions. These same politics can aid in their community intervention as a way to mobilize resources. As we analyze these 2 humanitarian organizations, we can see that an entity's mission and values play a key role in creating a culture that strives for organizational excellence. Employee engagement and commitment are higher when people perceive a greater purpose and meaning to their work, producing job satisfaction. Employee inspiration and motivation can result from symbolic stories of nobility, sharing the deeds performed by an organization, strengthening an employee's commitment to the organization's objectives, and as a result of this, further increasing employee engagement. Using the 4 Frames model, we encourage you to reflect on the culture within your own organization, seeking structural, human resource, symbolic, and political ways to build stronger leaders, a stronger organization, starting with you.